So, folks, um, we live in a time of just lawlessness, evil, generally bad things holding sway over our lands. And, I think I can think of really no better on the nose event that actually happened as a microcosm of what's going on in this country than what took place earlier today, actually. Reported on by The Guardian, U.S. Supreme Court weakens rules on discharge of raw sewage into water supplies. Uh, yeah, and basically, it destroys the ability of the EPA to set broad guidelines for um, what constitutes a clean water source, fresh water source, and so um, now the EPA has to give specific recommendations for every single fresh water source. Um, I, I don't really know how to like go on talking about this one. It's they literally are making it legal again to dump shit into your water. Like I don't like it's not even like this is beyond the scope of like a Captain Planet villain that's like cackling about like, you know, putting 10 new factories in. Like it's they're literally cackling about like putting poop in the water. I don't know, like it's yeah. The Republican supermajority court ruled on Tuesday that the Environmental Protection Agency cannot employ generic water broad focused pollution discharge limits to Clean Water Act permit holders and must provide specific limitations to pollution permittees. Basically, you have to give us specific limits, and those limits can also be challenged in court. Like that's the entire purpose of this is to allow companies to en masse sue the EPA. Death by a million paper cuts, you know? This is no, LB, this isn't a bit. They're literally trying to make it easier to put actual literal shit in your drinking water. Yeah. In a 5-4 ruling written by Justice Samuel Alito, the court blocked the EPA from issuing permits that make a permittee responsible for surface water quality, or end result permits, a new term coined by the court. The agency has adequate tools to obtain needed information from permittees without resorting to end result requirements. Basically, what they were doing before was saying, hey, we're going to test this water, and if this water is above levels, you know you're going to be in trouble, mister. And now instead, it instead it's just you have to issue guidance to each company and then just kind of like test internally to those companies in order to make sure they're not putting too much shit in the water. It's insane. How can anyone be okay with this? It's money. These companies that are dumping this waste into our drinking water make money by doing so because it costs them money to dispose of it properly, you know? Like they're literally asking you they're literally saying we're going to piss on you and you're going to act like it's raining. This is the literal version of that, you know? And yeah, this is if any of you remember, right? If any of you remember back several months ago when the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine, this is kind of a knock on of that, because they overturned Chevron doctrine, which prevented, basically is what um it's what allowed these government organizations to do government organizing stuff. It's what allowed them to do what they do. And now, because Chevron has been overturned, companies are able to swarm in and sue the government to stop them from being able to regulate different industries. And some of those industries include being able to have drinkable water, you know? It's really bad. So I don't even know where we go with this, but we need to start treating this like the threat it is, you know? Like, too many people are just being like, "Oh, it's business as usual," while a 25% tariff goes on our biggest allies in the world, Mexico and Canada, for no reason. And we know it's for no reason, because he's said nothing that either of them could have done would change this. There are no demands. It's not a negotiating tactic. It is simply a way to fuck us, working class people. It's a way to impose a flat tax that will benefit the wealthy at the expense of the worker. That's it. That's all that's happening here. And what they're doing is selling out every aspect of our government, in order to make a quick buck. We're being looted for parts. It's like someone coming in and, like, I don't know, stealing organs from a patient that went in to get their appendix out. It's an ongoing looting in progress. From a million different directions too. And it's something that they are continuously doubling down on. Like, this is a lot of people assumed it was a joke, and now Donald Trump has just doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on this. And I think people need to understand this isn't like a fun thought exercise. This isn't like a really interesting point that he's making, a really nuanced opinion that you can, debate to death. Like, no, this is the president of the United States threatening Canada with war. That's what this is. Every one of these little comments is saying we are going to invade you and annex you. And Democrats still aren't understanding what's happening. It is absolutely disgusting. Like, I don't know how anyone can view this type of betrayal of the United States' ideals, or the bond of fellowship that has existed between, the United States, Canada, and Mexico for literally longer than most people have been alive on this planet. And like, they're like, "Oh yeah, we should piss them off. We should try and fight them." Why? There's nothing to be gained here. He calls Justin Trudeau the governor of Canada and threatens war on a whim, for no reason, for no benefit whatsoever. This is not strength, it is weakness of the highest order. A weakness born of madness. The king has no clothes. Well, that's the other thing. I think that a lot of Democrats at this point do understand, at least in part, what's happening. I just think that you're right, they don't care. They don't care, Tat Teferi. They don't care. Um, but I also think that of the ones that don't care, I don't think they realize how this winds back up on their doorstep. Like, I think that their ability to check out like, either willful out of willful ignorance or outright malice, I don't know, and I don't really care. Um, they don't seem to realize that if people get riled up and people start dying and people start missing their social security checks, like, there's gonna be blood in the streets, and that blood is going to be, like, well, people will know who's responsible, I guess. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing or that we should encourage that or that anything like that. But what I am saying is that historically, this is how violent revolution happens. You know, when you've got your grandma dying in the gutter because she got kicked out of her nursing home because social security payments stopped. That's the kind of thing like people will fight and die for. You know, and so, of the Democrats who've, like, checked out or think that, like, it's just gonna be business as usual, like, I don't think that that really I don't think that really I don't think that flies. I don't think it's gonna be business as usual, you know? And I think increasingly as we go forward into the current timeline we're in, it's going to be increasingly not business as usual in a way that is more and more difficult to ignore and pretend like it's just business as usual. I think that like whereas last time during the Trump administration we got like the pink hat protest, the pussy hats. Um I think this time people are going to be much more serious, much more committed, and much more angry. Like the rage that is brewing in America right now is really difficult to encapsulate with just my words. But like one thing I'll note is that Indivisible was an organization that was relatively small and unheard of prior to all this. And in the past 4 days of March, they've had like 30 or 40 new chapters open up across the country. And that's in 4 days. That's how angry people are. People are getting together all over this country to talk about how they can organize, what they can do, and like they're going out there and doing stuff. And I know that they're going out there and doing stuff because I've seen the videos. I've watched Indivisible's weekly, touchstones where they talk about how things are progressing. And I've been paying attention to all of you. So many of you have talked about attending Indivisible protests and how it's helped you and made you feel better. And like, I think that that should be combined with your local Democratic Party because one of the things we are going to need to do when all of this is said and done is we're going to need to oust the Democratic Party. Yeah, you guys all know. I've been talking for a while. You need to join your DSA and you need to like radicalize your local Dems to, oust your, establishment senators and representatives. Cuz that's like one of the only ways we survive post whatever the hell coup this is. We need stronger and better leadership. Leadership that's actually willing to do the work and walk the walk. And like we have people in this community who have been at work in their local Democratic chapters and helped make that change possible. And we need everyone involved in this protest effort to do the same. Because if all of us got involved, those establishment ghouls have nothing. They just coast along. That's all they do. And then they try and pull levers in their machine to rig their games, and if enough of us join, there aren't enough levers in the world to rig the game. So organize outside the Democratic Party and get people to swarm the insides of the Democratic Party. Choke the bastards out of their own orgs. Dragonfly, you're restructuring the local Dems in your entire region now? Fuck yeah. Yeah, Bastion, I wasn't. We're gonna watch the State of the Union speech. Don't you guys worry. You'll see how unimpressed I was. Um, on a slightly lighter note, just as kind of like a general roundup of, man, our enemies really are stupid. Here's JD Vance responding to a user titled named JD Vance was a DEI admit to Yale Law. What an interesting username there. Look at that. Vance family moved to undisclosed location. Blah 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 blah. These people are such idiots. Had a great time during our weekend in Vermont. We barely noticed the protesters, and almost everyone we met was kind and generous, and Vermont is beautiful. This headline about being moved into an undisclosed location is that we moved our hotel so the kids could have more privacy. We didn't disclose it because the Secret Service doesn't like when we advertise my location. A real man would force the Secret Service to post his kids' weekend address on the internet, said Jeff Computers, a very smart and well adjusted human being. JD Vance literally quote tweeted uh uh and quoted a shit posting account named Jeff Computers. And I just have to let you know, if one of the things you find really daunting is going out and like, protesting in a direct way, one of the things you absolutely can be doing is shit posting. Okay? Like, get good at shit posting. Have like multiple accounts shit posting 24/7, all right? Cuz I got to tell you, these people are fragile as hell. These people are fragile as hell. We've got Elon Musk responding to shit posts. We've got JD Vance responding to shit posts. Like, guys, shit post for good. I see you guys snarking in here. Start snarking on your 10 accounts on Twitter, okay? If it's all overrun with bots anyway. Not saying you should bot. I'm just saying you should have multiple accounts for multiple purposes, like a normal person would. Monica G, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. I very, very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just gonna mute the recurring dings, but thank you very, very much. Yeah, one thing that fascist, power brokers really, really cannot stand, it's people making fun of them. You know, print off flyers and start posting them around your town. You know, I, I was talking about this with my partner earlier today, and she quite correctly pointed out that there's a long and storied history of shit posting actually fueling revolutionary thought and ideas and movements. A really good example is actually from the French Revolution, where pamphleteers would, for the first time, thanks to like the printing press being widely available, people started making pamphlets about, attacking the monarchy of France, and just putting those out there. Like, you had pamphlets also against Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great, like, famously was rumored to have had relations with horses, and a lot of that was spread around by pamphleteers, shit posters of their time. And what I'm gonna say is that, like, go nuts. Undermine the legitimacy of this administration by hook or by crook. Do what you got to do. You know, get out there and shitpost for the cause is what I'm saying. All right, get out there. Shit posting. What is shit posting? Yet the modern day pamphleteers who, spurred on the revolutions in countries around the world. You know, get out there and embrace the roots of your hobby and profession. All right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, troll for good and not evil. Exactly. Tonight's look. Also, you'll never have anything even approaching how good of like a shit posting environment this is. All right, are you kidding me? So many people are angry about what's happening. So many people are like artistically motivated. So many people are like receptive to ideas mocking the authority of the president. I Yeah, like also, and I'm gonna be honest here with you guys. When it comes to this, they have poured billions of dollars. These people who are trying to buy America right now, they've poured billions of dollars into devices that can literally fabricate text and images and audio. And I'm just saying, uh, that's a double-edged sword for them. I'm just saying, if you need to like create a lot of shit posts in a relatively short amount of time, um that would be one way to do it. Yeah, you can turn it back on them. Oh, make videos of Trump telling the truth. That'd be so fucking good. That's actually an amazing idea, Sam Moose. Someone should do that. Like an AI video of Donald Trump saying how much he's screwing over senior citizens by fucking with Social Security, the Social Security Administration. This is probably what I'm describing to you guys is maybe the only ethical use of AI, and that is to undermine the very people who would force it down our throats.